Y'all thought I couldn't make a video game. Oh, that's not a good bite. Alright, so who even cares about frickin' C strings, alright? No one. But I like to learn new stuff, and then I was like, I'm gonna learn this stuff, and I'm gonna make a game out of this stuff that I learned. So a C string is just an array of chars. So I decided to make a game just based around that. I was learning it in C++, and I was like, you know what, I want to make a game, you know? I'm always wanting to do game dev. So how can I combine what I'm learning with game dev? So let's just make a game based off this one specific thing. You know, that should be easy, right?
Bruh.
So first I had to finish the C string tutorial video. Like, I was like, god damn. And then you see like people in the comment section are like, oh, I got this in like 10 seconds. Well, bitch, it took me like 10 hours, alright? It didn't take me that long. So I learned how to code that f***er. And then I moved on to learning Unreal. Unreal ain't no joke, alright guys? Like, you grow some like nutsack hair doing this shit. So in the past I have used the Unreal Engine, but it's been a while, I'm not gonna lie. So I opened it back up and it wasn't good. Yeah, I don't remember jack shit I don't remember jack shit about this shit. What the f is going on here? Oh well, I kinda remember. We gotta watch some tutorials. Once you start game dev, the learning is never done. Especially if you never start, or if you work on a tutorial and then you give up. Which I did. Luckily the tutorial I was working on a few years ago has been updated to Unreal Engine 5, which initially was for 4. Game Dev TV, you guys are pretty cool. So I was going buck wild on these tutorials, man. So I was learning all this coding stuff in Unreal, like actors, vectors, how to make classes, variables, functions, pure functions, delta time, tick, dookie time, velocity. Learning all this is an atrocity. I did get to make 2 pretty cool games out of it in the end. The course teaches you like everything you like need to know to make a game, right? Teach you how to mix C++ and Blueprint, and like how to make C++ appear in Blueprint, which you don't want to do like too much, but it's good to know how to do it. And I was like, whoa, this is getting boring, so let's just make the game already. So I went ahead and made the game design document. So I could have made this dick easy and just made a typing game, but I ain't dick easy. I'm vagina hard. For your first few games, you do want to keep it really simple, mostly based off one primary mechanic. So right away I knew I wanted to make something with movement on one axis, because learning Unreal is difficult enough as it is. And then I decided to make the background 2D and then the characters 3D. Just a cool guy move I like to do. But if you couldn't tell from my game design document, your face, there's chars falling out the sky, and you need to catch them with your face. So from the chars falling down, you spell out the word and then it's on to the next word. And then I want to put a fireball in there somewhere. But the first thing I like to do when making a new game is making something move. So I downloaded a cute little Mario face. And then I put in front of this 2D background that just matches perfectly. Yo, I finally got this motherfucker in here. But I did make a mistake by making the character a pawn instead of an actor. So if you're giving your character a dynamic movement, make it an actor. Then I learned 2D movement from this Vulcan guy, which actually isn't too bad as far as Unreal goes. You just set the bindings into project settings and then call it in the blueprint. But wait, there's bullshit. So apparently this thing I just learned is trash. We don't need it anymore. It's depreciated and there's a better option now. It's called enhanced movement. Learn it, nerds. Super duper fast summary of how to get enhanced movement working. First, make an input action blueprint. Since we're moving on one axis, make it axis 1D float. Next, make an input mapping context. Go inside input action context. Add input action blueprint. Choose input map bindings. Then put a negate modifier to whichever input makes the character move left. So here's the last thing. You go to your character blueprint, then add your enhanced movement event to your character movement input. One more thing. Then you just want to do a little bit of this in the character blueprint. Just cast a player controller into the mapping context we made earlier. That was pretty simple and easy, right? Then your little guy will do this. Now to make the guy super duper fast, do these things. Go to your character blueprint class, character movement component, give yourself 1 air control, change the max walk speed, and the air control boost multiplier. This is really good for my guy because he's obviously in the air. Next! I want to get the chars falling from the sky so I can catch them. In Unreal, you can just enable gravity and then things will fall down easy peasy, but I needed 3D models. And I actually have no experience in that, so I had to learn that as well. So I pulled up the OG Classic Blender God. Then I quickly mastered everything there is to know about 3D modeling. And then I created my first masterpiece. It was a char, an exclamation point, and it was red. It was very sexy, very nice. So then I put the exclamation point inside the Unreal editor, but I still need the logic for what happens after it collides with the head. So I made a class in Visual Studio Code for all the symbols being dropped. Inside there's an array of chars that represent each respective char. So whichever symbol is dropping down is indicated by the pick symbol variable. So each time a symbol drops down, I want it to be a random character. So it's only natural I used a random number generator library. So I put that in my class. So every time one of these cursed symbols is made, it has an index picker, which is just an RNG object, and that randomly chooses which char is going to be spawned. So it chooses by its respective C-string index.
An awesome choice, stranger.
So this might be a good time to mention that Unreal doesn't actually use chars, it just doesn't like it. So I used an int32 and just cast it a bunch of times. So all these chars in this array actually equal different things in decimal value or an int. So I know this is a lot and it's getting confusing, but try to keep up, Riri. So I'm actually glad the array ended up being an int instead of a char, because ints hook up mad nice to enum list. So I made each enum equal the decimal value of each char. And enums are nice because you can export them right to Blueprint. So off into Blueprint. So I got that enum in there. And you guys remember that sexy pick symbol int variable I was telling you about? Well, that's what the enum uses to determine which 3D model to poop out. Okay, so I got stuff pooping out, and the RNG is actually working. Every time I make a curse symbol object, it is assigning a new decimal number that represents the char that it's supposed to be. So then I made it if the curse symbol object hits the face, it is destroyed. But I need more stuff to keep spawning forever and ever and ever and ever and ever and ever. But if you do that, then that's a lot of crap on the screen. So set a timer so it spawns periodically and also have a way for the stuff to be destroyed. And now, ladies and gentlemen, C strings.
This is where the fun begins.
So I made a new class for the C string you're trying to spell out with the chars that are dropping down. So for this class I have 2 arrays. Count them, 2! One is that guy. It's the C string we're trying to spell out. To make the string more aesthetically pleasing, I have spaces in there, but those count as characters as well. So the string is almost twice as long because of the space characters. I also pre-filled the array with a bunch of crap just to make it easier to manipulate with, and I put a 0 at the end. And I'll show the loop later where the C string ends. So one of the main benefits of using C strings is that it's an array. And then there's pointers. Pointers are like the meat and potatoes of array manipulation. So a pointer is just a variable whose value is just an address in memory. So you can make a pointer that points at the start of an array, index 0. Then you can dereference the pointer, which pretty much means you can access the data it's looking at and then change it. What index the pointer is pointing to can be changed just by adding to it. For this example, I wanted to go over 2 indexes, so I just added +2 to the pointer variable. So the word you end up spelling is going to be initialized in the constructor, just like the previous curse symbol class. This for loop is where all the magic happens. It uses a pointer that targets our C-string array and goes through each index and dereferences them. So that loop keeps going until it hits the 0. Then we'll use a text renderer to show the C-string that we want the player to spell out. I then grabbed the C-string from the code and brought it into a blueprint as an F string. But then it was just storing the whole word into one index. I needed it to be cut into multiple indexes. So I converted the F string back into an array and then used the spaces to determine where I wanted each new index to start. Your boy inefficient, but he's pretty smart. So the player knows which char to grab. I made an arrow that moves a predefined distance each time you grab the correct character. Also, I got lazy and just downloaded the 3D models for the rest of the char types. So the game is looking pretty good, but every game needs a way for you to lose and make you feel bad. These ugly spike balls should do the trick. They'll be the default spawn, so they should come out pretty often. So I'll make it so this clonks you and then you lose health and then eventually die. Such is life, but usually there's not fun spike balls.
Dang it, Bobby.
And next we need a widget. What's a widget, you say? Well, no one really knows, but it kind of looks like this. Wrong picture. I mean this. Yeah, that thing everyone hates. But first I made a health variable on the character face class. And then after a collision, you'll check if the character that was eaten has a decimal value that equals 0. Which is the default decimal value in the enumeration list, and the 0 represents
The spike ball.
Once it registers that the spike ball has made contact, they'll use the apply damage function that decreases the health variable. And the fullness of my widget health bar is actually binded to the health variable's value.
Oh, would you look at that? Just look at that.
So now the player can die and has a health bar. So if you die, I made this cool death screen that keeps track of all the correct chars you eat. So this game is looking pretty ugly, so let's make it even uglier.
Oh my God!
Then I download this thing, record some great sound effects.
There you go.
Then bada bing bada boom, we got ourselves a game. Nom nom. So yeah, she ain't much, but she's mine, and I love her. Aww. Believe it or not, it actually took a few months to make. It'll make you cry when you see how much stuff I had to learn just to make this game and this video. So thanks to everybody who actually watched the video this far. I know it got kind of long there. That's just what happens when you're making greatness. Shout out to the 35 subscribers. You guys are the real ones. And subscribe if you like game dev content, or if you don't like mine, that's fine. Don't subscribe. But yeah, have a good day, guys. I'm out.
Go.